All right, problems 19, 21, and 23 are all really the same type of problem. In 19 and 21, they give you a point. In 23, they just tell you the y-intercept is 2, so you could write that as 0, 2, and you'd have the same type problem. So here's what you do. You got your equation. They want you to write it in this, they've given you the parabola. It's got a vertex, and you know a point on it. So what you do is you take that y minus k is equal to a x minus h squared, and what you're going to do is you're going to first of all plug in your vertex. When they tell you you've got a vertex, you know that the first number is the h and the second number is the k. Well, the h actually goes over here, and the k actually goes right here, so just be careful that you don't mix them up. Okay, so what do we really have here now is we have y plus 3 is a times x minus 4 squared. Well, now, I need to find that. If I could just have the a, I'd be done, okay? I can find it pretty quickly because think about this. They gave you another point. Why did they give it to you? If they give you information, it's because you need it. They don't ever give you extra stuff. Well, this point right here is on the graph. It's one of the points on the graph. It's a solution of the graph. It is x and y. It's a point on the graph, x, y. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug that in. Everywhere we see the y, we'll put a negative 1. And everywhere we see the x, we'll put a 2. So let me go ahead and fill in the rest of it. We've plugged in 2 for x. Now, if you look at what's happened now that I've plugged all that in, the only thing missing is the a. I can clear this up, clean it up, and solve and figure out what a is, and it won't take me that long. Negative 1 plus 3 is 2. Now 2 minus 4 is negative 2, but I'm going to square it. So that's going to be 4, a times 4, which is, I'll just put it down as 4a. To get a by itself, we divide both sides by 4, and we find out a is a half. Okay, now, so let's go back. Y minus k. Notice I've written this an awful lot, haven't I? It's because it's your guiding thing here. Well, my k was 3, and when I plugged it in, it became y plus 3. Remember, right up here, we'd already done that. All I got to do to finish is put the a in. And remember, when we plugged the h in, it was x minus 4. We can kind of look over here and see that we've already done most of the work. We just needed to add the a in. And there's our equation. 23, because it's the same problem, but I think some people would have a trouble with it just because of the way they gave the information. The vertex is 3, 5, and the y-intercept is 2. Now what you have to realize is if we're going to do this the same way that we did 21, we'll need the formula. But if you remember, we plugged the vertex in, hk. Let me label it. There's the h, there's the k. So it's going to be y minus k is 5, so I'm going to plug it in. And I don't know my a, and then I've got x minus h is 3. Now, oops, meant to write that in red to show that I was plugging it in. So, oops, not going so well here. Try it again. Okay, so there's the 3 plugged in. Now, I want to know what a is. And I'm like, what am I going to do to find it? It's the only piece that's really missing. Well, what other information did they give me? They gave me the y-intercept is 2. Now, here's why I kept telling you I wanted you to write your y-intercept as a point. Back in Algebra 1, I kept saying, write it as a point. If it's a y-intercept, it means that y is 2 and x is 0. Remember, for your intercepts, your opposite variable is always 0. So now this problem, if I write it as a point, it's just like number 19 now. All I got to do is say, oh, they just gave me an x and a y to plug in so I could figure out what a is. Because remember, I'm almost done. I have y minus 5 and x minus 3 squared, and all I need to do is plug the a in front of that parentheses with the x, and I'd be done. So let's go find a now. Let's plug in. X is 0. Okay, so I'll do that. Let me do that in green. This x right here is going to be 0, and this y over here is going to be a 2. So what's 2 minus 5? It's negative 3. Okay, so now I've got a, and then I've got, in parentheses, I've got 0 minus 3. That would be negative 3 squared. Okay, well, negative 3 squared is a positive 9, and if I want to get a by itself, I could divide both sides by 9, and I find out that A is negative 1/3. Okay, well that's all I really needed to finish up. The only thing I was missing to write the equation was this A that was out front, and so that's what I'm going to put right here. It's just negative 1/3. So I can add it in and I will have my answer, negative 1/3. And now it's done.